Good morning, and thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we are continuing our study of the book of Ruth. Today, we have a marriage proposal. We talked about the many facets of the book of Ruth and how, in a sense, one of the most popular genres of stories, of literature, of movies is born in this book. It's the oldest. Which is the romantic story, the story that has the happy ending when there's a marriage and a baby on the way, and we get that moment in the story today, or at least we have the proposal. And what's interesting about this is that Boaz, for as much as he loves Ruth and for all the wealth and power that he has, waits for Ruth to propose to him, even though he didn't have to do that. And if she had never claimed him, I am certain he would have never pushed forward his will on her. He waited for her to propose to him. Well, as we left yesterday, we talked about Boaz and why he felt agape love toward Ruth and how he expressed that love. And Ruth goes back and tells Naomi everything that has happened. And Naomi then understands that, hey, this guy is our near kinsman. And so what you need to do, now that we're celebrating the barley harvest, is go claim him as a near kinsman. She's referring to the law of levirate marriage, a law that was codified in the Mosaic Law in Deuteronomy chapter 25. But when you go all the way back to the book of Genesis and the story of Perez and Tamar and Judah and Tamar, and we read about that. It seems that was also the custom, because Tamar was married to Perez. Perez died. And in fact, a succession of brothers died in trying to raise up a family with Tamar, and we had that a disagreeable incident that happens to produce the lineage that brought us Boaz, David, and then Jesus. So the levirate custom went all the way back to the patriarchs. So this is part of God's social safety net. If your husband died and you had no economic prospects and you had no protection under the law, you could claim the nearest kinsman, and then they had to marry you and give you offspring under your husband's name. That way the land stayed in the family. So this is what Naomi tells Ruth to claim from Boaz, and she tells her how to do it. You say, wait till they're celebrating the harvest. Wait till he's has drunk and is merry and has his belly full. And when he goes to sleep, you go uncover his feet and lay down next to him. So that was the custom, and it was an ancient custom when the writer wrote this. But that was the custom. That was her proposing to him, which is exactly what she did. And it says in chapter 3, Verse 8, it happened in the middle of the night that the man was startled and bent forward, and there was a woman lying at his feet. And he said, "Who are you?" And she answered, "I am Ruth, your maid. So spread your covering over your maid, because you are my near kinsman." And he said, "May you be blessed of the Lord, my daughter, because you have shown your last kindness to be better than the first, by not going after young men, whether poor or rich. And now, my daughter, do not fear, for I will do for you whatever you ask. For all my people in the city know that you are a woman of excellence. And now it is true, I am a close relative. However, there is one closer than I. Remain this night, and when the morning comes, if he will redeem you, good, let him redeem you. But if he doesn't wish to, then I will redeem you, as Yahweh lives. So lie down till morning." Which she does. Then she gets up early, so there'll be no scandal. She goes back to her mother-in-law, and her mother-in-law says, don't worry, don't worry. I know the man. I know what he's feeling. And by the end of this day, he's going to have the matter settled, which is what we'll talk more about tomorrow. But before we leave today, let's think about Boaz some more. And it's that phrase, you know, in the first place, he's a rich and powerful guy at barley harvest. And at the end of this celebration, he's sleeping by himself. Let's give him credit for that after we've read the book of Judges and we know what goes on. Let's also notice that he's so happy and appreciative when she proposes to him. He says, your later kindness, your last kindness is better than the first. What you have done for me is bigger than what you did for Naomi, because you've claimed me. You've asked me to marry you. He's such a wonderful guy. And after having read the book of Judges, isn't it wonderful that God lets us spend some time with him to see that even when times are bad, you can be good and you can do well because you are good. Well, we'll talk about how he handles things tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for 5 Good Minutes.